Nice. And so last up, we've got some prison possession with Jonas Govaerts.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm well. Whoa. Hi, everybody.
Hey. So why don't you tell us about your film Transfer?
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's
straight. We've only got 10 minutes. It's just straight to business. We'll make jokes in a bit. It'll be fine.
So it was part of a TV series where a couple of directors were invited, writer-directors teams were invited to think up a story that was all in the same location, like a prison visiting room, basically. And you were basically free. It was a corona-proof concept. So there was, they came up with the location. If you could think of a story that was like about 10 to 12 minutes long, you were, and it was chosen, and you got to shoot your short there. That's it.
Ooh, that's really cool. So how did you come up with your idea?
I was already working with an American writer, a guy called Joey O'Brien, who did this very sadistic one-location horror movie called Downrage a few years ago. And we've been in touch since I contacted him through Facebook. And I basically said, because one of my favorite films is Lost Highway, and without giving away too much, there's a prison scene in that has a kind of a similar idea going on. So that was my pitch to Joey, like, could we do something similar to that? And apart from that, I worked as a second unit director on Color Out of Space, the Nicolas Cage movie.
Oh, nice.
Which was tentacle, cosmic horror. So I wanted to do something with that as well. So those two things together became my short.
I would like to replace the word Lovecraftian with just tentacle cosmic horror. Like, that's all. I will strip over the fact he was a racist homophobe and just go straight to what it actually is.
So how did you come to, what was the creative process like for combining those different influences you brought to this film?
I think I sent a Facebook chat message to Joey. He said, "I'm going to walk my dog. Let me get back to you."
That's how me and Kirstie come up with ideas.
and actually, the gist of it, like most of the story, he just dreamt up in that dog walk. So it was a very fruitful walk, I'd say. And the drafts after that were just about what was technically possible and. The details of it all, like what did the tattoo look like, but the idea of what you see, he came up with that in one go, which was kind of nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so did the vision sort of stay the same throughout the creative process, I guess, because it was informed by the limitations? Was the final product kind of how you were picturing it?
The funny thing is that cosmic horror doesn't get made much because it's so expensive, because, you want worlds coming into other worlds, stuff like that. So to me, it was kind of like a challenge, like, okay, I only have this very limited budget and one day of shooting. Could I do something? And I reached out to Dan Martin, who's a special effects artist that you probably know about. He works with Ben Wheatley a lot, and he was on Color Out of Space, a London-based guy. And I just pitched him the thing, and he said, what you need is a garbage bag monster. And I was like, what is that? And then he sent me a video of basically something you can do with just garbage bags that are modified a little bit. You fill them with water, and basically you get these movements that are very creature-like, and it costs practically nothing. So Dan made that for me for no money. And he was supposed to come over, but again, because of COVID, I had an assistant do it over here. He just coached him from afar. But basically, yeah, you can do cosmic horror on literally a shoestring budget, it seems, yeah.
So is this film just all practical effects?
Yeah.
Well, the tentacles, let's give away that there are tentacles in it at some point. We shot those against the green screen, and then they were composited together. So, but the effects you see are practical effects, yes.
I mean, COVID-safe cosmic horror may be the greatest elevator pitch I've ever heard.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, phenomenal. I forgot what I was trying to say.
Hold on.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about bringing the film to Grimmfest?
It's the first, we were Well, great. That's my first answer. And this is the first little adventure this film is going on separate from the other shorts. So I was the only horror one in the collection. There were 12 shorts.
Okay.
But I know I've made a feature in the past and I did some TV shows, and I just know that there's a worldwide, very tight-knit, is that the word? Horror community.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that I know that, when I say something about cosmic horror, you two are just like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, tentacles and shit. Got
yeah. And there's not many genres, there's no rom-com festival, there's no social drama festival. There are plenty of horror festivals, which is always great.
I would go to a rom-com festival now. I just wanna, I love a rom-com. It'd be great. And what is it that you hope that people take away from the film after they've watched it?
Just the funny thing is that the actor, he played it like I didn't want to do anything with COVID, basically, and all of us kind of stayed away from that, even though it was but everyone's tired of those stories.
Ages very quickly, I find.
Yes. And I'm sure we're going to get horrible Zoom horror movies. We're going to be, they're coming, all those bad movies shot during quarantine.
I've already seen a couple.
But then the actor, who's actually, you might not know him, but the lead actor is the lead in the original Vanishing, the 80s movie, the very creepy, that was remade as The Vanishing in a few years later. He was the lead in the original. He's just like an icon in our country. And he was saying yes, I'm playing this like the COVID virus. I'm playing the virus. So I was like, okay, as long as you don't say that out loud, it's fine. So he for him, it was a COVID movie. For the rest of us, it was something else.
Okay. And okay, I'm not sure how to word this. I don't want to say do you mind, but do you have a preference on how people are going to read it? Do you have any expectations for how people are going to read it? Or are you just kind of interested to see what other people take from it?
Well, I like that we've created something in 10 minutes that you can't really talk about without giving something away. Yeah. I guess the overall tone was I was going for a creep show or a Twilight Zone segment. You get a nasty sting at the end. And I hope we succeeded in that. It seems we did that, but it hasn't traveled much. So I'm very curious to see if that's what people take away.
Very exciting. What is it that draws you to cosmic horror specifically?
Honestly, I wasn't that into it. It was just working on Color Out of Space. And then the director of that, he basically taught me about Lovecraft, and then Dan was speaking about it. So I was more, I made a slasher before. I did some ghost stories, but it's a great new world, and I think there's a lot of cosmic horror coming our way. It's Lovecraft is being discovered by everyone, and I feel there's a lot of Lovecraftian stuff coming. So this is my tiny contribution to that new subgenre.
To the new pantheon.
Yeah. How do you feel with your little contribution to such an iconic piece of horror history in a way? How do you feel it's changing and evolving kind of as each new piece sort of falls into place?
Just humbled, I guess. Because I'm still reading up on all that stuff. I got the light version when I was younger with Stephen King. I didn't realize that those stories were clearly nods to Lovecraft. Things like The Mist or The Raft are very Lovecraftian, but I didn't know that at the time. So I think it's interesting because it kind of, I think because of what's happening in the world, we're going to get a lot of nature run amok movies, and I guess Lovecraftian movies kind of it's basically the universe taking revenge, and I think unfortunately it's going to be a very hip topic in movies soon. So yeah,
I think that's a very very insightful thought you've got there. But I think that brings us to the end of the time that we have with you. So thank you so much for coming on and joining us.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Been a pleasure.
It's been an absolute delight. So one more time, everyone, for Jonas Govaerts. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And enjoy the film.
Oh, we will. It's tentacles. I'm happy.
Oh.
That's how it works. What? That is all we've got time for, which is mental. It's not even been an hour, but there we go.